I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, November the 12th, brought to you in part by Vitalix. Increased feed efficiency, decreased feed costs, improved conception rates, increase average daily gain, and increase weaning weights. Get the blue tub, go to Vitalix.com. Scary grains, and they are just flirting with levels that we haven't seen for a long time. And we thought, well, as we got through harvest here, and there may be a few guys out there, I don't think we're going to be singing Christmas carols in the combines like we are a lot of years, but we are sure getting on the very short rows of harvest here. But we thought when we got to that they would ease off, and they did for a little bit, but now they keep rearing their ugly head, and it's not just corn that's pushing $6 a bushel again, and we thought that it was going to trade between $5 and $5.50 a bushel, and then it pushed past that, and then we're thinking $5.50 to $6. But we could surpass that, and it's just really getting scary out there. Beans are also getting up there. November beans on Thursday were up 8 3/4 cents, now over $12.12 a bushel. But your Kansas City hard red winter wheat near $8.30 a bushel. My goodness! But these grains have really shot up there, and our fuel is up there, and likely these grains are getting so high because of fertilizer costs, and a lot of places they're twice what we had been used to, and it's just getting unbelievably high, and we're assuming that a lot of farmers are going to have to back off on their fertilizer because they just can't afford it. So we're expecting down the line we're going to have lighter harvest, because if there's anything more direct correlation to your yields, it's the amount of fertilizer that you put down. But my gosh, everything just seems to be playing into some people's hands, and it seems like it's mostly your billionaire donors to the Magoo administration. It seems more than curious to me that recently Bill Gates has become the largest farmland owner in the United States, and all of a sudden our grains have exploded. It had a lot to do with fuel prices, and it also seems curious to me that Warren Buffett was a big supporter of the Magoo administration getting in. And it's been nothing but gangbusters with him as far as shutting down the Keystone Pipeline, and our fuel's going up so much, and now we're having so much trouble with our trucking. But when you own the largest railroad, guess what? Things are pretty good for you. But I rarely think things are just a coincidence. But things are really jacked up, and I mentioned that the trucking shortage, especially on the cattle industry, and it's hurting our cattle markets, especially on feeder cattle and calves. But it's just a real struggle. We've never seen it this bad. But a lot of your cow truckers have started hooking those tractors up to flatbeds and reefers and things like that, because we've had such an interruption in our supply lines. But it's really tough. But for all truckers, but especially those reefer drivers and guys that work for the big outfits, most of those are independent contractors. And they say maybe as many as half, but sure 40% have decided that they don't want to take the vaccine shot, the COVID vaccine shot. Well, you think, well, they'll be fine because they're private contractors. Well, they're trying to make them be a part of the corporations that they work for, meaning that they have over 100 employees, and they're going to force those truckers to get a shot. And I don't know how many truck drivers you know, but I know a lot of bull haulers, and it doesn't surprise me that a lot of them have chosen not to take the shot. And they're the kind of guys that the harder you try to make them do something, the more they're going to resist. And that could just make things even worse, especially going into the holiday season here. But, that is just really messed up. Some other things that are messed up is your North American Meat Institute, which enjoys partial funding through your beef checkoff dollars, has come out against this new compromise bill that's bipartisan, that is going to force minimum negotiated cash. We can get this deal. We can get this pushed through. We can get it attached to the reauthorization of mandatory price reporting. We can get this deal done if we don't kill it ourselves as an industry. And keep seeing people come out and say, well, no, I'm not going to give in at that level. It's the only thing we can get, guys. I say it every visit here. This is the chance to get something. So you either want something or nothing. So it's your choice. And basically, if you just sit and let it happen, it's going to get pushed through. But if we continue to see people putting out messages and other trade associations putting out messages that the industry doesn't support itself, those lawmakers don't know the ins and outs and the politics of cattle trade associations. They don't know that. They're just going to see that and they're going to think these guys don't even know what the hell they want. So let's just let them sit. But we can get this if we'll just let it happen. Now, something that's been kind of upsetting, and I mentioned it here several weeks ago, but Beyond Meat's fake meat company is really struggling. And their stock prices were down 17% on Thursday. We sure hate to see that. We'd hate to see people that invested in the very fake products that are trying to put our farmers and ranchers out of business would lose money on that investment. But that's indeed what's happening. And as high as everything's gotten, and we know inflation is really ramping up and everything's higher, especially our meat products, our proteins in the stores are higher, people still don't want to eat that crap. And they're not going to. And you can't force them to do it. They'll find a cheaper cut of meat. They'll eat real meat products less frequently, but they're not going to eat that damn salt mash with all the artificial flavors and colorings in it, trying to make them trick themselves into believing that it's some kind of a real meat product. It's just not. And I always think it's funny when I see these commercials about dog food with powdered meat and all these fake things in it, and the dogs, they've even got pictures of the dogs wondering, what the hell are you thinking, feeding me that stuff? But we're going to force ourselves into thinking that it's something that's fit to eat? I don't think so. Let's talk about your board on Thursday. December live cattle futures down 12 cents at 131.87. The market's sure 132. We're in a bastard month here with November not having a trading contract, but December just not very far away, and now we've fallen below what our whole market price is. That doesn't sound very good. February live cattle futures down 42 cents at 136.40. That sounds a whole lot better. Go on your back months, and they don't really know what to do and haven't all week, but down 20 cents to unchanged. Just not a whole lot going on in your back months of live cattle. November feeder cattle were up 67 cents, despite our grains being trigger happy here. But November feeder cattle up 67 at 157.32. January was up $1.02 at 159.07. All your back months on feeder cattle are higher, up 42 cents to up 87 cents. Fat cattle had kind of minimal trade after a bigger trading day on Wednesday, but Thursday did have some confirmed sales and higher yet again. For sure fully steady to a buck higher in spots, but like I said, 132 is our price, and we're inching past that. Iowa had confirmed sales of 1,200 head on Thursday, over 35,000 so far for the week. Live prices from 132 to 132.5, and dress from 206 to 207. Nebraska, 2,900 heads all confirmed on Thursday, but almost 25,000 for the week. Live price 131 to 133. We hadn't seen the 133 yet. The only confirmed sales dress we had were at 207, but I heard many reports that 208 bids were out there, and people were still resisting them, but I'm sure they did have some 208 trade. Your packers are just getting kind of lax turning that stuff in, even though they're mandated to do so, but nobody, really to push their feet to the fire and make them do it when they're on an up market. They really don't like to tell what's going on, but 208 bids were out there, and I'm sure there was some 208 trade. Kansas, only about 300 head confirmed, about 11,000 for the week, 131 to 132 live price. Texas did not have any confirmed sales, only 4,500 confirmed for the week, but I heard several reports of 131 and 132 bids in Texas, and I find it hard to believe that guys didn't find some cattle out there. Even your plainer cattle, the Packers will take anything to hang on the hooks right now, at 132. But box beef cutout values were mixed again, and they're not really sure. We know we found a bottom, but they're not sure if they want to plateau from here or kind of rebound, that they've been really up and down this week. Choice cuts on Thursday afternoon, 285.14 down 33 cents. Select up 67 cents at 267.29. Your slaughter is kind of backed off here later on in the week, and it's going to be a little bit disappointing, even though we know Packers would like to turn up the speed, the chain speeds, but they can't get the product. And they really want to slaughter that top quality product, and they sure can't find that. So they're not pushing the issue too much, but they've still got to keep enough of it going through the lines to fill their obligations that they had for contracts and things, or in orders to fill for the holiday season. But 482,000 so far for the week through Thursday. That's 5,000 less than last week, but 9,000 more than the same week a year ago. Let's talk about what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services, one of your professionals there that can help you with your hedging or buying an insurance policy. I guess they'll do the hedging, but buying an insurance policy to protect yourself against a down market. We can continue to gripe about we're not getting paid fairly, and the only reason we can say that is because the Packers are making such a huge profit and continue to, but have been making monster profits for the last 2 or 3 years with these black swans. But these markets are pretty good historically. Our calf, yearling, and even fat cattle markets are pretty darn good, and you want to protect yourself against those going down. Call Livestock Risk Services and get you an insurance policy against that, and they can help you find just exactly what you need. Can probably end up getting part of that taken care of through some government funding there, but that's a good deal to get into, and I think you need to try it out. How about your markets, feeder markets in your sale barns on Thursday? Your real-time index late in the day sitting at 154.23 based on an 800-pound steer, and that was up 9 cents from Wednesday's close. Didn't have many auctions covered by your Federal State Market News Service because it was Veterans Day and a federal holiday. A lot of these state programs are getting most of their funding from the feds, and so with it being a federal holiday like that, a lot of the sales just went uncovered. So they're not getting that information into the index for your CME cash feeder cattle index. With Cattle Market Central through DV Auction, we don't have to send somebody there. It's all automated, comes through the computer systems, and it doesn't leave a big environmental footprint because we're all worried about that. But not many sales covered through Federal State Market News Service, but I'll give you some that we picked up through Cattle Market Central. Farmers and Ranchers Livestock was not covered, but we did get information out of there. About 2,000 head of feeders went through, and the trend there was on your light calves, 4 and 5 weight calves, fairly sharply higher, $4 to $8 higher. Now your middleweight, 6, 7, and 8s, not so much. They were kind of lightly tested to lower, but then your 9 weight yearling feeders would be quite a bit higher too. But a big quote out of Salina, Kansas was 2 loads, 124 head of steers, weighed 928 pounds at $160. Pratt Livestock, Winter Livestock and Pratt, 2,500 feeders there. They were not reported either, but did get some information out of there. A very similar trend straight south of Salina there within the Kansas borders. But your lightweight calves were sharply higher. Middleweights, not a lot of activity, and where it was lower. But then on 9 weights, it was higher again. And they had a couple loads in Pratt weighing 900 pounds, right on the money, pretty close there, at $162. That's a big time quote. 100 pounds over your index price and a good $8, $7 or $8 higher than what that index is. Some other big quotes around. How about Ogallala Livestock Auction, Ogallala, Nebraska? They had about 4,400 head there. Now, they do have a state program there, and that market was reported. They called it $2 to $12 higher on steers. The heifers were not well tested. Some big quotes that I saw around the circuit. How about Lamona, Iowa? That market there, it's not reported. Either Cattle Market Central doesn't report it, or the Federal State Market News Service. But Corbett Wall does, because I know the owners and I know buyers that go there. But they had 2 loads of 755-pound steers in Lamona, bring 174 and a quarter. How do you like that? How about some rains out west? And man, they've been struggling way out west, and California, Nevada, Arizona, places like that. But had some big rains here the last couple of weeks in California. And look at here, all of a sudden the calves are getting higher. They graze their calves in the wintertime, guys, so they're buying stalker type cattle right now. But Orland Livestock Commission Yard in Orland, California, 98 head of steer calves, weighed 479 at 188 and a quarter, and there's a lot of fancy calves in Nebraska that won't bring that, guys. But the biggest quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday in your Zach Tran top quote for the day was a calf price that come out of Ogallala Livestock in Ogallala, Nebraska. 198 head of 425-pound steers bring $230.50. That's your feeder flash for Friday.